You're now listening to episode 67 of Signed In, an Xbox 360 podcast, recorded on April 17th, 2011. Find us online at signedinpodcast.com. Hey everybody, welcome back to Signed In. I am Jeremy Superfro33.
I'm Craig Profdresser.
And I am Sean Shonix.
How are you guys today?
Okay.
You?
Doing fine.
Good.
How are you?
I'm all right.
Yeah.
I feel like a big
Good.
letdown. I'm worried that I'm not going to have a lot to talk about. So I'm glad you guys are here.
Good.
And somebody else needs to be the lead on the show because I apparently can't do it.
Why is that?
Because I've been doing other things and not playing games. And
You're not allowed to do other things.
Disc
This is
games.
in the contract.
Okay, seriously, no disc games have
Yeah.
come out. Pretty much no disc games have come out in the last
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Which is usually
Pretty
my
sparse.
forte.
Yes, it is.
The
That's true.
disc area when I burn through those. So those haven't been happening. So I haven't felt immediacy. I've also been. I feel like I completely prepared for the wrong show. Do you guys need anybody else for the pull list? Because I'm good to go on that.
You got a bunch of comics on your
Oh
belt.
my god! I've been
good.
reading comics like a dork.
Don't sell yourself short. I'm sure you downloaded a bunch of things and didn't play them.
You ass.
You can talk
I'm
about
not going to talk
those.
about anything now.
Nice.
My arms are folded.
Aw, don't pout.
For the listeners at home. I'm pouting.
Well, it's a little light all around here
Yeah, yeah.
because actually the indie marketplace kind of halted for
Right.
most of the week this week. So I've got 3 indie games to talk about, 3 XBLA games to talk about, and going back in time to 2010, I got some Lego Harry Potter.
Hell yeah, that's
Time
awesome.
machine.
That's cool.
Yeah, well, I borrowed Lego Harry Potter and Lego Star Wars 3 from a friend, and just planned on getting straight through Lego Harry Potter and starting Lego Star Wars 3 to talk about it with you guys this week, and that didn't work.
I have a little more to say about Star Wars 3.
That's
Cool.
crazy.
Good.
That's awesome.
Some complaints.
Some complaints. Dun-dun-dun.
Stay tuned.
I bet they're Star Wars related.
Hey, probably.
I hate Star Wars.
Yeah, this is stupid. Doesn't make any sense.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah, right. I've got a couple. I actually played some indie games this week, which was
What?
awesome. I really enjoyed that. I
Excellent.
got a couple XBLA games. I'll touch back a little bit on Unbound Saga a bit.
Oh,
Got
yes.
to play some more
That's
of
right.
that.
I forgot all
Nice.
about Unbound.
This will be like a
Saga.
review episode
Yeah.
after the indie games, I think.
I finally played.
No, we
some-
got a couple XBLA.
Yeah. Finally played some Crysis 2 and got a chance to play the All Star wrestling game. So All Stars, whatever
Cool.
it's called, All Stars SmackDown.
WWE All
All
Stars.
Stars.
Yeah, I believe so.
Wrestle your face.
You know, I'm not...
Wrestle your face off.
Sidetrack here a second. I'm not watching WWE. I haven't for years and
Yeah,
years.
yeah.
But they started doing Tough Enough again, and that's their game reality show where they bring dudes in and train them
yeah,
up.
I remember
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
And they did it years and years ago, and I
Yeah.
didn't know
Wasn't
it
it on
started up
MTV or
again.
something?
God, yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's back when they had their agreement with them.
yeah.
And it
Yeah.
started again, but Stone Cold's doing it.
Okay.
He's the main guy and the one that kicks everybody off. And it is fucking awesome. It is so entertaining to watch.
That's probably very hilarious.
Yeah,
yes.
that's
his stuff at the end. He gets the 3 people at the end, and he just goes off on them.
I can
And it is
imagine.
awesome. So I highly recommend that to folks.
Does
Even
he
if
then
you're not
do a
watching,
stunner on them and then kick
he
them out?
should. That'd be awesome if that's how he got kicked out. He stuns them. They flip over the ropes.
Chugs a couple of beers and then he stuns you.
Oh,
He
he
just-
got pelted in the head that one time by a can of beer.
yeah.
We were watching. That was so cool. And he just took it and then just grabbed it. He's like, give him another one.
So I'm not.
How'd you just...
I'm not watching wrestling, but that Tough Enough show is awesome, and
Yeah.
Stone Cold just yelling at 3 people at the end is fantastic.
That's pretty sweet.
He was talking the first one. This is a total sidetrack, I know, but it's hilarious because he was talking to this lady who was didn't have any motivation. He's like, she was pulling up her pants when she was running through between the ropes, and he was getting super pissed about it. He's like, I fought Yokozuna in Japan or something. He's like, he slammed me and I shit my pants. He's like, you know what I did? I finished the match. I shit my pants and finished the match. I'm like, this show is awesome. It was right about I got to that speech where I'm like, I'm recording all of these.
That is awesome. That's cool.
The show is fantastic. That has nothing to do with video games. But I highly recommend everybody watching that.
No, I don't know. Stone Cold, he's in the video game, isn't he?
That's true.
We can segue somehow this week, right?
All right. Well, like I said, I have some Star Wars 3 to talk about, Lego
Yep.
Star Wars 3, and I played some demos on the XBLA side. Not too much I did play a new pinball table, but I can't talk about it.
Oh,
It's embargoed.
Nice.
Top secret.
It is. The Mars table that was on PS3 is coming out this week, but our episode will be out before that embargo is lifted. So
it's
I'm not
already
going to talk
already
about it.
out on PS3.
It's been out for like a year on the PS3, and they've just ported it over to the...
Can we talk about the PS3 version?
Yeah, that seems strange to embargo something that has already been out for a year.
I would agree with you.
No, I'm not saying saying you should break this integrity or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever shreds of that you still have, but
Yeah, there's no integrity.
it's just very bizarre.
I know. I don't understand that either. You know, that was that whole thing with the Elo Milo, and they did those games too. And there was like an embargo. You could get the games through the other games.
Right.
But they still had like review embargoes on the games that didn't come out for like a month or two.
Well,
and I was like, anybody
weird.
could buy it now.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean,
was weird to me.
I've seen something recently where a lot of these downloadable title creators are really encouraging. I mean, they have these embargoes so that you're promoting it right as it's out, and so people can go buy it immediately.
It makes sense.
It does, and so I guess with the Elo Milo thing, I would guess is just that it was not the easiest. I mean, it wasn't like go to the marketplace, download it. You would have to download something else and look for it through there.
You know, and I do fall into the category of I do definitely like them having reviews come out at the time when the games are available.
Right.
Because sometimes reviews will be... And I think somebody was talking about this on Twitter. There was a conversation going on about this last week where, you know, especially for indie games, a review can really hurt the game.
Yes.
And so if you have a bad impression, at least have it at a time where somebody can check it out for themselves.
Yeah.
Instead of like a week before, and now that person's got to...
Now they're not going to pay attention to it whatsoever.
Yeah, so I agree with that, I guess.
Yeah.
That was a... That's a nice segue.
Yeah.
To some conversation that did we not talk about games at all? See, we're good to
We're
go.
talking about games.
Let's just do this the rest of the show.
Indie games. Let's do it. All right. So
let's do it.
First up, pew 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 pew.
Pew.
No, there's 9 of them.
Oh my God, is there?
Yes.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna write them all.
So
There's gonna be 3 for the sake of our links.
This is an 80-point game, and it is fairly revolutionary in the indie marketplace because there are no controls to this game. It is a two-player. It's essentially a two-player. I have figured out how to do it one player, but it's essentially a two-player side-scrolling shooter that has no controls. You instead have to use mics or headsets, and so one person controls this dude's jetpack as he's flying up and down by increasing or decreasing the volume of whatever noise they're making. I like to make a jetpack noise.
And we checked this out before the show last time.
Yeah,
a little bit.
yeah. We didn't have really
we get to
enough
experience
time.
it a little bit,
a little tiny bit, because it came out right at the time we were making the show. And then the other person is making sounds for the shots, and so they're in control of the shooting. And so the two people have to work together to do it. It can be a little difficult, especially the shooter, because you have to make your sounds really distinct and tiny in order to get shots off quickly. And so you have to make sure there's some spaces there. But it's actually quite a bit of fun in its zaniness, and I figured out you can actually do it single player. What I do is I have my Rock Band mic. I turn that on, and then I have a headset on, and so I shoot through my headset, and then I basically hold the other mic and I move it closer to me when I want more volume for the jetpack, and then move it away from me when I want.
Because it doesn't matter what you say.
No, it doesn't.
It's just as long as there's something coming in.
Exactly. And although it sounds really bizarre because they allow some of your voice to come through and they distort it a little bit, and so the rocket pack has like more like a sort of sound to it, and the laser, I can't remember what it sounds like. It's been a while, but
it was a pretty interesting game.
it's really clever.
Yeah,
I tell you what was hard was because I remember when we played it, when we checked it out, I was the jetpack guy.
Yes,
and so that was hard because you had to totally guesstimate the trajectory and like the raising and the lowering,
because
you're
some
shooting
physics to it,
and you're shooting constantly, but you had kind of a float where it would let you float down at a kind of an angle. It wasn't just so much straight up and out, because the screen is moving left to right as well, right?
Yeah,
it's scrolling.
Yeah.
So you're moving and the screen's moving, and so it was a little bit of balance to like raise you up at the right time or lower you at the right time. So it was fun though. I mean, it was interesting.
It would definitely be a game that's a lot of fun at a party with lots of people around, and,
or kids.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So it's really worth checking out. 80 points. It's really innovative and not something that you would see out there. Definitely better than like Fret Nice for XBLA.
Yeah.
where that, although that wasn't really using sound, but it was trying to do something different with controls.
Yeah.
But that was just really kind
game
of
was
obtuse.
Yeah, that was very weird.
For how to control it. But pew 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 is really kind of in.
I don't think that was enough, but
I don't think so.
We'll
I think
count
it was
it.
like 7. Yeah, you're right.
we'll fix that in post.
Okay, thanks. But really, really cool stuff to see. And I always say I like seeing innovation coming from the indie marketplace, and this is trying something really different out.
Yeah.
And I seriously, when I would listen back to the episode, I want to hear that fixed in post. I want like you to say that and then be pew pew added in.
Pew pew. Pew pew.
All right.
I've got Notebook Adventures. It's 80 points. It's from 636 Studios.
Is that based on the movie? The Notebook?
The Notebook? Yeah.
It's like a sequel.
I never saw it. I never saw The Notebook, but
Didn't it have like some dude's name on it too?
Yeah, but it's not under. It's under Notebook.
Oh, okay.
I've seen some of the movies playing on your Netflix. I can't believe that you've never seen The Notebook.
Shut up. Why we got to bring up her?
Her? Who's her?
Summertime and her.
Oh, you're going to pin all those movies on her?
Yes.
Okay, then I would stick with I can't believe you've never seen The Notebook.
I have not though. I don't like Ryan.
That's my
Gosling.
excuse too.
I don't like that guy.
His girlfriend is your excuse?
Yes.
She watches your Netflix.
Yeah, she pirates it apparently. I don't know what's going on.
How about
Whatever.
Notebook Adventures? Since I derailed everything.
It's an alright game. It's a side scroller. It's like pencil drawn on blue, line note paper. It's like those notebook games that they've had on there before.
Right.
It's like 40 some levels, 80 points.
It's a platformer, right?
Platformer.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I like the look of it. It's kind of neat because you're jumping over spikes, big spikes, and they have it like written.
Yeah.
Like it will have a little line pointing to it or money. Get the money.
Oh, that's kinda
And it's
cool.
On this, it's on the paper.
Oh, that's neat.
And it's a really neat look. I just had a lot of problems with the controls, and now I'm starting to think maybe it's me because it's the same type of problems I was having with Russian Attack, where I was like my guy will continue to run off ledges, and I kept like screwing up and falling on spikes, and I was getting more and more pissed, but I kept playing the game. And that's why I was like, I almost might get this 80 points and just get it.
Yeah.
Because I just stayed on it and played, even though I was getting more and more and more frustrated and mad, and I'm like yelling at the thing.
So are the controls kind of just like floaty, where it's like if you stop moving, it still goes a little bit?
And you can like be in air and jump again. And which it kind of works. You can kind of manipulate it a little bit if you play with it right. But it's a weird controlling, almost like you're almost floating a little bit. And if your character's moving to the right or left, it will continue to move unless you put it to a stop.
Oh, okay.
And so that kind of hurts.
So you don't have to keep pushing forward. It just you put it in a move mode.
Yeah, and and
Weird.
so like you can hit a jump, but the only problem is like then you'll come to a row of spikes, so you got to remember to stop your guy, even though you're not even holding like you brought your finger off the controller. So. Still, I love the look. I thought it was really neat.
Now this one, the main character at least was a lot more detailed than
yes.
other notebook type games.
He's the most detailed thing of the game, pretty much, that I've seen. And I forgot the name of it, but it's just under Notebook Adventures.
Yeah.
And but there's some name tied to it, like on the whatever. And he smiles at you and gives you a thumbs up and stuff. And, I mean, he's pretty cool because he'll have little emotion. Like if he's not doing anything, it's the classic like Sonic where he'll stop and like look at his watch or put his hands up, like what's going on. But I had a lot of fun with it. I thought it was pretty cool. I love the look
cool.
and
neat.
Awesome. I checked out Shield the Beat.
Shield the Beat.
Shield the Beat.
And I only played a little bit of it. It's 400 points.
Yes.
It is. So it's a little pricier.
It's a pricier one, but there's a reason.
And it's coming from Detour Games. And the reason for that price increase, I would assume, is because of the licensing for the music tracks that are found in the game, which there are quite a bit.
Yes.
It's essentially a rhythm game where you're a ship who's getting shot from all angles or from 4 different sides.
Right.
And you basically are using your cursor to go around and shield the bullets that are coming in.
Yeah, you have a passive shield, but then you have a tougher active shield that you use to block the actual shots.
And as you absorb the bullets or block the bullets, it basically plays the music. And so it keeps the beat. So by missing those bullets, you're dropping out the music, and that's where the rhythm aspect comes in.
Yeah.
And so you're rotating around and capturing the bullets as they come in. And I think that on the basic mode, you're just playing, because I can't remember what level I played on, maybe easy because I'm a baby.
Yeah, easy is just the one.
It's just the one, but then as you increase the difficulty level, they add in a second shield, and that's the right stick.
Right.
And then there's multicolored bullets that are coming in, and they can only absorb the right colors, and it gets way confusing for me.
Red and blue.
But it's cool.
I'm a simple boy.
Yeah.
But and there's a normal in between there
Yes,
too.
yes, there is.
Yeah. But
I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Yeah, it was really
I
cool.
really, we've talked about before. All of us here on the show love rhythm games.
Yeah.
But it's been a while. It kind of seems like since there's been a music based kind of game like this, and so it was nice to see those again. And I just had fun with it.
I really liked it because it is a pure rhythm game. I mean, there's nothing to it other than really, matching the rhythm and all of that. Well, I guess there's some strategy once you get 2 colors. That's a little bit different, but you're still, trying to hit the rhythm as much as possible.
My reflexes just cannot work for 2.
It's difficult.
The right and left.
But that's good. I mean, I like that
yeah.
they built that into there.
Agreed.
That's replayability there. But so it is a pure rhythm game, but it certainly doesn't look like a pure rhythm game. It doesn't look like any pure rhythm game I have ever seen before. And so, I like that sort of meshing of the style with the ship. And the ship is trying to escape from these raiders or whatever. And so you have to wait until you can hit hyperdrive, and that happens at the end of the song.
I just the whole time I'm thinking R2's trying to hook the
there you go.
get the hyperdrive
like
going because I'm like, dude, why can I be driving this whole song and I can't get going?
That's what I thought too when I played it.
No, you didn't.
Maybe.
But
you guys don't know how hyperdrive works. That shit's complicated.
That's true. We don't. Well, maybe I do. You don't know what I know.
Well,
you know everything I know.
The next time I'm in a
no hyperdrive.
The next time I'm in a spaceship, my hyperdrive is going to be ready to go. Because it seems like anytime they need it, that's when the problem starts.
You're going to be like parking and accidentally hit it.
Just be on deck at all times.
That sounds dangerous.
It's just emergency. The emergency brakes on at all times in my drive.
Wow, your transmission's just going to drop out of your ship. Anyway,
this is terrible.
Shield the beat.
We're doing this game some fine justice here.
But yeah,
it's an awesome game.
I mean, it's got really good licensed songs. I mean, it's got like a Franz Ferdinand song. It's advertised on there.
Yep.
And so that starts to make that $5 price tag seem much more reasonable.
Yep.
And I don't know how many levels there were.
8 levels.
8, okay.
But then that's the best thing about it. The replayability is there because you have the 8 levels, and then you add the difficulty, then you add the colors, and then you've got.
Right.
And then there's 2-player, local, and then a co-op,
And trying to
there's a
improve your
versus.
scores.
Yeah. And I really like the visuals are pretty sweet too because that ship is really small and you're essentially just this little circle in the screen, but you're flying outside of a huge ship and you're like flying around it the whole time and the space is behind you and it's a really neat look and the music just really works and I liked it. I had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, and you mentioned the score thing too as far as like replayability because when you do miss a bullet, it interrupts your multiplier.
Right.
So keeping a streak is important in the game as well, which is and I kind of found it just odd when I was playing it where I was all of a sudden focusing like in the middle.
Yeah.
And as a periphery, I was kind of seeing where they were launching from.
Right.
And so it almost becomes a memorization as well of like, well,
a little bit.
Where did this come from? Because you're not necessarily looking, I found myself not looking to what was closest to me. It was what launched last.
Right.
And so I was kind of having to keep in mind like, okay, this one shot this off because you are working in such a small radius and area that sometimes you can't really tell what bullet is closer.
Right.
When there's a whole stream of them coming.
Yeah.
So I almost had to just memorize with what ship just shot the last bullet and go that route, which was kind of neat. I thought that was fun.
Although the ships are also spinning around. And
they're turning as well. So.
Yeah, it had a very like gyrus feel, towards those parts when the ships would move, and then you'd have multiple
a stream of them going around.
But
I liked that. That was my favorite part.
The triggers, I like the fact that the left and right is like a master shield that puts a bubble around you.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, if you use the,
I was just doing it hardcore.
Well, it doesn't last that long.
Hardcore, yo.
It doesn't last that long because I was like, oh, why don't I just spam this? And then it just all of a sudden wasn't really working at all.
Sean,
anymore.
why are you trying to take the fun out of the game?
Well, I know at the beginning,
because
like
I'm a fun hater.
the first couple, like at least the first couple levels, you're using, or at least the first level, you're using that ship that basically can take as much damage, like as many hits. You're just missing out on those scoring.
Yeah.
Right.
But later on, I think there's ships that can take you. Like if you get hit, you die. And you have to redo the level.
Yeah.
So
because I forgot there are different ships, aren't there? And there are upgrades. Is that right?
I don't.
I can't remember
anything.
I think
I might be mixing it with another game.
I think they pretty much say that there's just 4 ships, and
okay.
they're each one's weaker than the other. I think
I know it's funny because it goes the opposite way of like a game would. You get worse ships.
Yeah, as it goes on.
But that's how it should
for the
because you're also getting
challenge
better.
players.
Yeah.
You know, at the gameplay. So it's just funny that the balance is different. It's like, oh, you can unlock ships that have worse shields.
Yeah.
Awesome.
The trial for it's really nice too, because there's a tutorial in there, which is really cool, and they have a free play, like a free roam, because your timing will go, the timing on an indie game and blah blah blah. But they have a nice, like, it gets you right into it, and you don't have to navigate the menus. But
right.
I thought it was really neat that when I sat back out of the menus, which I thought were done really well, doing through some of those, the tutorial was awesome.
Yeah,
it's like, because it really walked you through it, even though you get the gist of it, one of those games. But that I'm checking out tutorials on games I already know how to play. I'm like, oh, check this out.
well, that's good.
Yeah,
since you normally don't.
For $240, the
400
or 400. That's right. The price is a little high, but I think I had a lot of fun with it.
Yes.
I just need to make the decision on it.
Yeah.
There you go.
But it's cool. It's definitely worth checking out.
I've got Udder Chaos. It's fairly new as of this
Yeah.
recording. Udder Chaos with 2 Ds, because it's about cows and alien abductions. So it's a gallery style shooter, kind of in the line of like Hogan's Alley and all of that,
Nice.
where you're controlling a cursor around the screen, and there are all these UFOs kind of flying into the screen, trying to use their tractor beams to lift up your cows and then carry them off the screen, and you have to shoot them before they carry the cows off the screen. And so you have your regular shots, and then you also have a machine gun, which heats up, and then when it overheats, then you can't use it for a little while. But if you use it sparingly, you can use it to basically hit things faster to eliminate them. And then there are different types of aliens. You start off with like kind of the red and green. At least when I was playing Waves, it actually has different modes, and one is a kids mode actually. So I didn't get a chance to check that out yet, but because I just played it this morning. But in Waves, you start off with the green and red, and they seem pretty basic sort of aliens. But then you have like the purple aliens, and instead of stopping to pick up the cows like the green and red guys do, they just kind of grab them on the fly and just start going with them. And then later there are like these yellow ones that fade in and out, and then there's like these metal rocket ship cows that are flying around and try to shoot milk onto your screen so you can't see for a little while. And it starts becoming chaotic, and it can be up to 4 players all shooting on the screen at the same time.
Oh wow, yeah. Like 4-player local.
Yeah, and then and you also can shoot power-ups, these little pill-looking things with B on them, or you earn smart bombs to get a smart bomb, or you earn smart bombs at the end of levels if you do really well, and then the smart bombs will just blow everything off the screen, whatever you want to do. And then there are also upgrades that you can use, so you're earning money as you're shooting the aliens, and you can upgrade like the power of your shots and the speed of your shot and the spread of your shot. And it's actually really fun, and it's got a really, really nice art style to it. It is very cartoony, and would appeal to kids in that sort of sense, but it's also just very classic in that sense, the way that it looks.
Right.
And I liked it a lot. It's 80 points, and it's quite a bit of fun. And I can see people sinking lots of time into just shooting through the waves or playing the other modes. I can't remember what they are. Sorry again. This is my impromptu review of it.
Well, yeah, it just happened today.
Yeah, from this morning. So. But definitely worth checking out if you like those shooter sorts of things. I do recommend using the A button instead of the trigger, because that is always exhausting to pull the right trigger constantly. Because you can't hold it down to keep shooting. You have to shoot each shot. But yeah, and my poor trigger was squeaking away as I was doing it. I'm like, okay, that's enough of that.
Mine's got the squeak going on too.
Yeah,
pinball.
I think
Pinball broke my controller.
Yeah, I'm sure. I think this controller is on its last legs. It's nearing its end. It's going to join the other 4 controllers that have been used up.
You should just throw those away.
No, because they're good for you don't know jack, because the buttons still work. It's the joysticks and the triggers that
So
don't
you're
work.
smarter than me. Not that you didn't know that already.
But that's it.
But I know about hyperdrive.
Hyperdrive.
How about Hypership out of control?
No.
It
You
is.
don't know
Anything
anything
else
about
on
that.
indie? Who's
I got nothing.
FortressCraft.
That's right. You did play some
Chapter
FortressCraft.
Yes.
Sells for 240 points from Projector Games. It's a 2 to 8 player multiplayer online mess of craziness.
In the best way.
It is. This game, like, I really like it. Yeah, it is an Avatar, mostly game. So my guy's walking around with this big pickaxe. But
And none of us ever played Minecraft because we don't play a PC
Yeah,
stuff.
because this is essentially a Minecraft clone.
Yes.
Yeah.
and I don't even know what that is. So
That's why I love you on this show.
I had a lot of fun with this game.
That
because,
is so awesome.
You know, you start off in this huge realm, like huge, and everything's floating, stuff's building all around you. And I went to the lowest spot in the game that I could get to. Well, I just pretty much walked off a cliff and then I landed, and then it was pretty low. So I just started digging, and I kept digging, and down, and I just kept going, and I spent so much time just digging this hole, and then I started building.
Is this a metaphor for your life?
I don't know, because I added, and then I dug this tunnel, and I pointed straight ahead, and then I got in this tunnel, and it started getting darker and darker. So I was like, oh my god, I'm like, this game is awesome. I was like, I turned around and I'm looking at where I came from. I'm like, that's far away.
Did you even get to any of the building?
No, this is what I did then. And so what I did was I looked up and I digged a hole.
Or dug
a hole until the light came through. It was awesome.
So you've made a skylight.
So I made a skylight, and then I just cleared out a section in there, and then you could build
Are you living in your little bat cave now?
Essentially, because I put all these bookshelves in there, so it's like this little chamber that has
burrowed into the ground.
That has all these bookshelves, and I made this cool bookshelf room with a skylight, right? And I'm like, well, I'm gonna dig to the other side. Then I ran out of time. But awesome,
because you were just playing a demo.
I did a lot.
Just playing the demo, and I had a lot of fun just with that. I mean, just that little bit, and the fact that I'm thinking I could go back through and really just, I don't know.
And you can do multiplayer in as far as people can visit your stuff, right?
Yeah, I believe
think that's
so.
how it works.
I think that's how.
I'd hate that if I built something, because I know a lot of jerks that would come and start changing stuff.
Well, you would hope that there's settings on there but I don't know how that stuff works.
Yeah,
and on Minecraft that would be the problem. Is that you could have people come in and destroy everything.
But I mean, the world that they already give you is pretty crazy, and you know the controls are a little bit, they're easy, but trying to pick through the stuff I have a hard time with.
Are the things living in the world? Do you know?
Not
or
that
you
I
spend
saw.
all your time underground? So
Well, I was up above, like going, okay,
foraging for bookshelves.
It was just in the ground.
I was making my dungeon crawler. But it was like, I kind of looked around. I was like, what am I doing with this game? It felt like an old school Sonic game because it was very squared off. Even though it had the look of roundness, but not really. But I really got a kick out of it.
That's cool. I will check it out. I didn't check it out because I have a problem creatively with games like that.
Yeah.
Where it's an open world and they're just like throw you in and they're like, oh, you can build anything you want. But my mind does not work for construction.
Yeah.
A lot of times. So I feel like I would get in there
Just
and
destruction.
Exactly. I'd destroy the hell out of everything.
Oh, yeah.
But like creating anything, not so much. Like I just don't have the vision of like architecture and like being able to put stuff together.
Rebuild it as it was.
I guess maybe.
Artificial trees.
I can't.
Well, and it seems like everything is block anyway.
Yeah, I know,
So
but
that kind of throws me off just visually wise.
Well,
because then I start getting really annoyed by it because I want it to look like a certain way.
You should take a look at some of the stuff people have made on Minecraft if you like.
Yeah.
And your mind will explode.
Search for it. Yeah, they do some insane things.
But I had a lot of fun
Like
just
somebody
by
made
digging a hole.
Like the one,
come on.
the one in Minecraft where somebody made a 1-to-1 scale of the USS Enterprise.
See, and that's messed up.
And they walk in and it's there, and it's like, oh, here's where the bridge is at. Here's where I'm like, what?
See,
I couldn't make a house.
See, and that's what I would do. I'd make a little house, and then that'd be the end of the game.
And I'd come over and set it on fire.
Make a bat cave.
I pretty much did. It was awesome. That was a deep hole.
Okay, here's the thing. I'm gonna because
I love your hole.
I'll be honest with you. I completely.
It was seriously.
It looks.
I fell for a
It's
long time.
obvious to me that it's completely just a Minecraft.
Yeah.
Not rip off, but it's that on the XBL. The indie games.
Yeah. I haven't heard of anything that's really different between the two.
So I will look at it because that scared me away because of the whole creativity aspect of it that I feel I lack sometimes, and I just can't get into that mode. But I will look into it because if we can play it online, all of us together or multiple people together, I'm gonna totally get in there and just like make some crazy shit. See, that would be awesome.
That stuff would be really
I
cool.
come to your game and it's Phallus Town.
Well, yeah, and we call it Dick Town. Sorry, Professor.
I was thinking of Phallusdelphia. Sorry.
Philadelphia. Nope.
Oh,
Dick Town.
totally worth the demo was fun. Totally worth checking out. Time ran
Is there
out.
gonna be a ball pit.
Probably. Probably. But
This is going a totally wrong way. I'm going to stop right there because I could just go on for days. Let's save it for when we're on playing in Big Town.
I wonder, I'm going to try it some more because I wonder, you start in this like pond thing, and I'm wondering if you dug a hole in the pond thing, then the water would drain out the bottom.
Probably.
That'd be sweet.
I know you had to put water on fire to put it out, so.
Oh, man.
I'm sure there's physicality.
That's all right. That's all right. Everything you have is made of dirt. Nothing's going to burn.
240 points, man.
All right, I'm going to check it out.
That's not bad. That's not bad
at
Hopefully
all.
we can have some awesome experiences with it next
see
time.
what happens.
Next episode.
And it says it's chapter 1.
Yeah.
So they're probably planning on releasing more expansions or something.
I'm sure they're making $1 billion, so why wouldn't they? Right?
And it started out first person for me, and I really hated that aspect of it. And that's when you're building, but then you can zoom out to like a third person and watch yourself walk around this world and then fall off a cliff. Because I was like, oh, and then I fell.
You should build a wall.
I know I could, right?
You would
Guardrail.
not fall off.
But I guess you can.
This game is not OSHA approved.
You don't really die. You just fall to a different level somewhere else, so then you build something.
you don't take any
there.
damage?
Not that I'm aware of.
I see.
Because that was a long. I fell.
Because I think in Minecraft there are like enemies that run around and break your shit and try and attack you. And
See,
stuff.
that shit would piss me off.
And you have to search for like upgrades for
Nobody
your
wants
tools
that.
and
F
weapons
that.
and stuff.
See, I'd build
It's
a
kind of got an
wall,
RPG aspect of
Yeah.
it.
and then another wall, and then another wall, and then I'd build my fortress underground.
You should just build a box around yourself.
Death traps.
Very cool.
All right, cool. Is that it for
you
indie?
can lock yourself
Yeah,
in
that's
too. I didn't think about that. Not that it would do
That'd be
anything.
fun.
Yeah. Oh, I'm locked in. It's dark. Yay, game. I would still have fun though. I'm stupid.
Then you make a skylight.
Yeah. Because I can't.
Now
Crawl
I can
out. I
see.
can't even crawl out of it.
Awesome.
It was pretty cool.
Are you done with indie?
I'm done with it.
We all done with
Yeah,
indie?
we're all done here.
All right, let's move on to XBLA.
Okay, first up, I've got the Dishwasher Vampire Smile, which sells for 800 points. Is that correct?
It is an 800-point game.
800-point game. And so this comes from Saga Studios, the makers of the first the Dishwasher, and also I made a game with zombies in it,
Yep.
and then the abbreviation that I can't remember,
ZBK2XZBYZK.
and then the one that came before that ended
That's
with
the one
a
I was
9.
talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I forgot 9. Yes, on the
Something
indie
like
games.
that. Yes. And so if you played any of the original Dishwasher, this is a continuation of that story. It's a side-scrolling beat 'em up with super comboing abilities and things like that, where here you're like this sister for the Dishwasher. That's how you start off. You can switch to be the Dishwasher at a certain point. There's a certain point where you choose which character you want to play as for the rest of the game. And she's like on this space prison, and then she escapes, and then she like crashes to the moon to try and get revenge on the people that are doing that messed up her and her brother, and running around, and it's a big gore fest where you're flinging people in the air and slicing them up and then tearing them apart, and she's a vampire now, I guess, or something. So she tears people's throats out, and it's pretty insane.
You were not a fan of the first Dishwasher, right?
I'm not a fan of
Because I was not.
I'm not a fan of Scott Studios' art style.
Yeah.
Is basically it. It's got kind of that. Johnny the Homicidal Maniac sort of
Correct.
style.
See, here's what I feel like when I played Dishwasher and this one, that I'm like reading, because they even do like the little cutscene things are kind of comic book style with
Yeah.
the word balloons
Yeah.
that they use or the information that they give you, and it felt like I was reading a 90s comic,
Yeah.
like an 90s independent comic.
Right. Yeah.
And that's exactly what it felt like, and I was like, oh no.
Yeah, so I'm not a huge fan of that, but actually, as I was playing it, I really could see the appeal for it because, it is a game where you do feel really powerful because you're running around doing these combos and flipping people through the air. And I should mention, like, the right joystick, you use that and you can essentially just kind of teleport a few feet away. And so, you
can leave that held down and like just keep going.
Can you?
Yeah, because when I was playing through, I only played the demo of it, but when I was in the ship and I would just keep it held to the right, and she would just keep like.
Oh, okay. I guess I never
basically
did that because I was usually going in lots of different directions
Yeah.
because someone would be attacking me, so I go behind them and then throw them in the air and then start juggling them and then, teleport essentially over to this other dude who is trying to jump above me. And, the combo system definitely is the biggest draw for it. Being able to do all the gameplay itself is really good. You change weapons on the fly, and I like that you can change weapons as you're still attacking. And so, it won't,
that's pretty cool.
It won't change until you're done with that combo move or whatever, but you don't have to, because some games, you have to time it just right.
Yeah.
And so then you get screwed with that sort of stuff. And, they also have guns that they can use to just kind of hold people back and keep the combo going if they can't get to somebody right away. And then there are the bigger guys. Oh my God, the bigger guys. They kick so much ass. It's ridiculous. But yeah, I actually had quite a bit of fun playing the game. I didn't care for the art style. There are some elements of the story that I really thought were done really well. Like they set some really cool atmosphere things, which goes in grain with the art style, but were really cleverly done, and lots of surprises going on.
That's cool.
And I didn't really know the story of the first Dishwasher at all, but I didn't really feel lost. They kind of catch you up to that stuff in there. And then beyond that, there's also a ton of arcade levels. Oh my God, there's so many arcade levels.
I think there's 40 or 50 or something.
Ridiculous.
And is that just basically fighting?
You go into a room and you get hit by waves, and they have different settings. There's vampire levels where your health is slowly decreasing and you have to kill guys in order to heal yourself, which becomes a bitch then when they introduce a big guy in there who's trying to crush your head, and so then you have to take breaks from fighting the big guy to go beat up some small guys, to make sure that you don't die from your health back, depleting. And then there are timed ones where you have 2 minutes, but every time you kill an enemy, it adds to your timer, and so you're trying to get to the end before the timer runs out. And there's one where every hit is super powered, and you're the ones that you do and the ones against you, and so those actually are kind of a little disappointing, just because I mostly go into a corner and then just start shooting with my machine guns, and then nobody can really get to me. And I kind of break that, but
you broke it.
I did. Actually, that was a tip that they gave. Was
there you go.
To use bullets more because they fire faster.
Allow us to show you how to break it.
Exactly. And so the arcade can be a little grueling. I liked playing through in the campaign. I think the forward momentum and the music going on and the feeling like you're heading somewhere and your venue's changing a lot. I think that adds a lot to the excitement of what's going on with your combos and attacking the waves and waves of enemies. You get to the arcade levels, and then it's room, and you're just in a room and you're waiting for the enemies to come to you, and then it's just you just have to figure a way to get through these enemies, and that can be a little grueling. I actually enjoy that less, but if you like fighting games and things like that, I think that is much more in tune up with a fighting game, just doing the combos and trying to create the best combos and get your score multiplier up higher, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun just running through and attacking. Sometimes it felt like so much. There's just a lot going on. It abuses your senses.
It does.
Completely. Because it's ultra violent, and the music is loud and thumping.
But this is what Scott Studios always does.
It's not like that's new to
that's one of the things that we love so much about, or at least for me, about I Made a Game with Zombies in it. It just becomes so insane at some points. And this game too. It becomes absolutely insane. And I completely admit that I had a lot of fun playing it.
Cool.
So I got past the art style, and it works. The only qualm I guess I have about the art style is just everything is so monotonely colored that I do get lost.
It's kind of muddy.
Yeah, it is.
It all just is really blurry almost in some scenes.
Though that adds to the animation a little bit, kind of in the same way that Limbo had some kind of blurred visuals as well. And so then the animations of the characters moving around actually looked smoother. But it's just I get lost sometimes, and then I get overwhelmed because the enemies are and some of those enemies are bitches. They just they just teleport directly above you, and they're flipping down while you're trying to finish off some other guy, so you have to evade that. And yeah, it's. But I think that's the point. Is that you're really supposed to. And some of those bosses, man, there's like a shark on mechanical legs that shoots rockets at you.
That's really cool.
I fought like this dude made out of corpses, who would like hurl corpses at me and things like that. Yeah. There's zombies. You know, the zombies are funny because, you know, if you got your regular katana equipped, then all you have to do is run up to them and press B to just kind of slam them into the ground. But, you know, then there's waves upon waves. I mean, so they're easy to beat, but there's so many of them, that they start to overwhelm you. So, and I really like just kind of flipping around and using that teleport to kind of search, because, you know, there are alternate paths for things. There are hidden paths,
I like that.
And there are a lot of, you know, there are these bead things that you can find that can upgrade abilities, and so there's and you can purchase upgrades for your weapons as well.
I was wondering about that because I know you get the money, and I didn't know what that applied to.
Yeah, you find these floating terminal things, and then you can purchase health upgrades or magic upgrades or upgrades for your specific weapons and all of that stuff. So yeah, really quite cool. I was a little tentative going into it because I had a chip on my shoulder about the art to begin with, but I actually ended up having quite a bit of fun.
The gameplay made up for it.
Oh yeah,
Sounds
definitely. Like. Yeah, and it gets pretty epic. Although there was a point of like, oh my god, is this game over yet? Because it's just like, now you have to go this leg further. I'm like, oh.
Well, cool.
Yeah.
I checked out some Red Faction Battlegrounds.
Yes, as did I.
I failed on that one. It's sitting there.
I'll tell you what. I don't care about it.
I pulled a Jeremy.
I don't care about it at all.
It's not a bad game.
Okay.
I would say it's not a bad game. There's just been this plethora of arcade games, I think, lately, where that's been my opinion of it. It's not a bad game, but it certainly doesn't live up to what I was kind of hoping it would do.
Right. I mean, I guess for me, yeah, exactly. I mean, we're huge fans of like what they did with Guerrilla, and looking forward to the next game. And so to get this, I was kind of just like, nah. Like, I don't want a Red Faction game where I'm just like, okay.
Right. Well, it's a car combat game, you know, up to 4 player, or more than that, I think actually.
Yeah, I don't remember.
And, you know, it's got a few different modes, like Capture the Flag, or just kind of a deathmatch, or King of the Hill, and things like that.
So
but
it's like a scrap metal?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Type. Yeah.
I've got it, but I failed.
It's car combat, and the graphics are pretty cool. You know, the vehicles feel different than other kinds of car combat games. You know, they have a little bit more of a heavy feel to them,
right?
You know, and the weapons moving around, and you know, it's just there wasn't enough Red Faction in there for me.
Yeah, I mean, because there is for the destruction aspect of where you're driving around and you're blowing up things on the sides, but it's all just the same thing that's happening. I mean,
they're all essentially explosive barrels,
right? And it's just stuff's going to blow up and then it's gone. I mean, it's not the aspect of Red Faction where you could like kind of tailor your destruction,
right?
And things would be different. I mean, you're always going to blow up this thing; it's always going to blow up the same way.
Yeah,
and usually that's not even the goal of what you're doing.
No,
I mean, you're doing.
They're more
things.
hazards than anything else.
Exactly, because they'll hurt you too.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It seemed like it was weirdly balanced or oddly set up where the game is essentially a handful of training missions if you're playing solo or single player.
Right, it's mostly multiplayer.
And then if you play online, you play these other, modes.
Yeah.
And you can level up, and you also level up by playing your local, like the single player training, quote unquote, training modes, and you level up through those. Which allow you to get better vehicles, I believe, and probably purchase upgrades.
I think that's where I was thinking of vehicles and upgrades.
Where you could,
that other game.
Get things. But it just seemed like there was not much content there if you were not going online. I mean, it's like you said, Craig, pretty much an online playing game. It
is a multiplayer aimed game.
Right.
And that would have been cool if like they had, more interesting things to do. Maybe added some co-op in there, because everything just feels like it's against, everybody against one another. And the destruction just didn't feel Red Faction-y. It was just, this blows up, and half the time it blew up on accident, not because I was planning on doing something.
Yeah, and to be honest,
that can be fun sometimes.
To be honest with you, if I have a vehicle combat game that's based in Red Faction, I want it to look like my Red Faction multiplayer with me driving around in vehicles.
Yeah.
and like being on that battlefield.
That
Yeah,
makes
maybe
sense.
working,
Yeah.
you know, shooting down buildings, and and maybe taking time, because everything was like one shot, boom, it explodes.
Right.
You know, maybe strategizing, have some buildings that you can knock over to try and topple them on top of people, or knock down bridges and add maybe the I can't remember what it's called there, but the device that rebuilds things.
Yes.
You know, adding
Reconstructor.
the reconstructor. You know, adding that sort of thing in there would have been awesome.
It
You know,
could have been-
taking out bridges and building bridges, and
It could have been any other game.
yeah,
Like there could have
Yeah,
like completely
exactly.
been divorced from the Red
It-
Faction.
You could take Red Faction off there, and you know, I wouldn't say, "Hey, this is a Red Faction game,"
Right.
You know, as I played it. So that, and even the weapons, you know, the most distinctive one, they do have the Singularity Bomb in there, but you know, you rarely get to that, and
Yeah.
everything else doesn't really feel like. I mean, because the feel for the weapons from Red Faction were because how they hit like structures mostly.
Yeah.
You know, how they
Yeah.
affected the world around you rather than hitting enemies.
Yes.
Oh, Red Faction.
So, yeah. So
I didn't care at all. I don't care about it. at
yeah.
all.
I mean, it's a competent car combat game as a Red Faction game. It doesn't really feel like a Red Faction game to me.
too
no,
bad.
not at all.
Yeah.
And that was my only draw to it.
Yeah, same
In
here.
any way,
Same
so-
here. I don't really play car combat games. The only reason I was excited was because I figured there'd be some destruction involved.
So it's 800 points if you care, but I don't.
or I think if you pre-ordered the game, it becomes a free download.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, if you pre-order Armageddon. I mean, it's not unfun. It's just I don't.
So
Want,
maybe
I'm not going to hunt it down.
So here's
you know,
the other
on
thing.
its
It's
own.
like, what is there even an online like world for this? Like, is there a market? Are people?
Right
is there a
now, you
community
mean?
for it? Yeah, because I mean, how many people probably are getting it through? If you pre-order the game, so if you're interested enough to like want the game or to want it for the Red Faction tie-in, you've probably already pre-ordered
Right.
the upcoming game, which means you're getting a free copy of this game, but you don't get that free copy until the pre-order comes in,
Right.
or till the game is
Yeah,
released.
so I'm going to
So a
guess
month
more
from
people
now,
are using that.
That is the dumbest thing. I would see them maybe doing a pre-order bonus and giving it to you now and trying to build up, but to like hold that for a month, you're not even giving an audience to it, which is weird to me.
Maybe if
that
they,
makes no
maybe
sense.
if they had something in there where you could get extras or build something up through there, like pub games or
exactly.
Dead Rising 2 Case
Yep.
Zero.
And they would give you the game now and
Yeah.
say, "Oh, you can get this and build up stuff in Red Faction." My wonder is if they're doing that because they don't want people to get the game and then cancel their pre-order. Like because that has happened with some things in the past. Like if you pre-order this, you get this game now, and you could get the game essentially, but then cancel your pre-order from wherever you pre-ordered it, like at Best Buy or GameStop or somewhere else. And so maybe that's their way to combat this, because you only get the game once the game is out and you buy it. I don't know.
Well, no,
understand.
it makes sense that they give it out when you get the game. The downloadable game is what you're talking about, right?
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense to me. It's just, there's not really much of a tie-in. I mean, other than getting it free with the pre-order of the game,
Yeah.
I don't see a lot of draw for it.
Right.
I mean, unless you're a really big car combat fan.
But I also don't understand the marketing reason of holding that game for a month, and instead of giving it to people now and like having a community around it, because nobody else is going to buy it right now.
Yeah.
If they're getting it for free a month from now, your target audience, the people that would buy it the most, you're already giving it to them later at a later date. It's weird. I don't understand the marketing behind it. But also, I don't care about the game. So what are you going to do?
It's just to get, I think Case Zero was the one that has really worked. Dead Space, I don't think really worked. I think it's just
that Dead Space one was terrible.
it's just getting you just getting that, like, hey, guess what's coming.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a preview.
What can we squeeze out?
Yeah, exactly. And we'll stamp it with something else. And I just see that because we've been seeing more and more of that with games now.
It's
Getting
been really
those-
prevalent
those
this year, I
arcade-
think.
Yeah, if like things that are coming up, and it's just like I'm waiting on the BioShock for the new BioShock that's coming out down the road, just to throw that out, and it'd be like a
Hacking game.
Yeah,
Hacking minigame.
That's
That's
all
what
it
it'll
is.
be.
Just all hacking. Yeah,
Right. And you'll unlock stuff.
yeah. Well, that would be cool,
New
but
Big Daddy
that's
suits.
not how they would do it.
They might on that.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, because think about the other tie-ins. The Dead Space one did have stuff that it unlocked in the game, didn't it?
I don't know.
possibly. It
Like
was just so
suits
terrible.
and
I
weapons
didn't
and
care.
stuff. Yeah. But that was on the PS3 at that time, too. No, that's the one that... No, I'm confusing that with something else.
Yeah.
But I think they did have
Dead Space 1
unlocks
came out way in advance.
like a
of Dead
month
Space,
before, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that they did have things that unlocked in the game if you used it.
Yeah,
if you got
probably,
it.
probably.
And the Dead Rising,
Yeah.
you know, you obviously
Which
could
was
carry your guy
fantastic,
over
yeah.
and add that stuff in, and that was really well done. That was definitely a well done thing. So I don't know, it's a weird new concept that everybody's going with.
Yeah.
Just trying to cash in.
All I gotta
all they're
say,
doing.
they just put Avatar items in it, and you might have my money right there. Seriously.
I know.
That's
I'm laughing because it's true.
It's one of the main reasons why I checked out Yar's Revenge, because one of the listeners tweeted me a picture of one of the Avatar item is a fantastic shirt.
Oh, yeah?
It's like the old school from the box, the Atari 2600 box,
okay.
you know?
Yeah,
it's on
yeah.
a T-shirt. And I'm like, well, that right there might be enough to persuade me to buy the thing.
So
And?
how is the bugless Yar's Revenge?
The Yar's Revenge, that was a game for the 2600 that I was like, this game is, hated it. Hate it. I mean, I played it in the game room arcade. I almost bought it one day because I was like, I need an arcade game, but I didn't.
What do you hate
But why
about
would you buy it if you hated it?
Because I'm a hater, and I just like old school Atari games, and I wanted it for my Atari
for its
room.
style.
Exactly.
So-
it's more of just like I have a second life.
You buy cred.
I'm waiting for my avatar to start a second avatar.
I'm pretty
My avatar will have another avatar.
I'm pretty sure you have more than 2 lives. I would at least put you on 3.
I'm around there. About, yeah. I would say.
There's no telling where this FortressCraft is going to go.
That's true.
He's going to build a big sculpture of himself.
Probably already has.
Oh, man.
A giant monument to his avatar.
Mom, oh.
That'll be in the middle of Dicktown.
It's your dick town. I'll bring if you want to buy one of my statues of me.
All right. Anyway, so how is the updated Yar's
commission that.
Revenge? Do you still hate it? For all new reasons?
I actually understand it a lot more than
Okay.
the first one.
No, it's really different than the first one,
Very
right?
much so. Because the first Yar's Revenge, I always got screwed up because they had that shield down the middle that was like all multicolors, and you're on one side and you're shooting at the bugs and the other stuff and blah blah blah. And it's 2600, so of course it's just blocks that are flying at you, and you don't even know what you're doing. And this
Is that an
one,
enemy or a shot?
and this
They
one,
were shitty on stories back then, weren't they?
duh.
What is my motivation here?
I don't know.
They had the coolest.
Did you read the instruction manual?
I
They had
probably didn't.
They had the
Hello.
coolest like cartridge covers.
Yeah.
But they had the worst games. The cartridge covers were so cool, like the Galaga covers and like all of those that are so cool. Like
They told you
Remember
everything you
the
need to know
Mega
about the
Man
game in the cover.
The ridiculous Mega Man cover?
So
I don't
they-
remember.
where he
that.
was a dude. It was like
Yeah.
all hyper painted.
Yeah, and he was all like regular.
It was like creepy.
Oh,
Yeah.
Mega Man. I'm sorry. For some reason in my head, I heard you say Pac-Man. I was like, where did they draw Pac-Man as a regular dude? And how did the fuck did that
it's
work?
it's a dude with yellow hair and he's eating ghosts.
No, the Mega Man 1 cover. That is terrible.
yeah, and
And by
that's
terrible you mean awesome.
No,
Exactly.
I mean terrible.
But this one was really good. I got a everyone remembers Space Harrier back in the day. That dude in the red shirt running around shooting people with the big bazooka, the snakes, long dragon heads. It's a lot like that because essentially you're just kind of you're flying through and you're moving and you've got your left and right. You move with your left and your right is you aim with it, and then you have different. You've got a shield, which is that's the coolest thing about it is when you use the shield, it looks like the little shield that separates. In the original
game, that's
it's
cool.
very neat. It goes around you, and it's all like those rainbow pixelated colors, just like the regular thing. I thought that was a really neat little paying homage to it. But other than that, it is just you're just shooting at people.
It's because it's a rail shooter, right?
Yeah, and it's I liked it. I was having a lot of fun with it. But I mean, I don't know if I'm going to purchase it. It wasn't enough to pull me in to get just that T-shirt, but.
Is that 800 points?
I believe so. I believe so. But visually wise, I thought it was really good. I thought it was really cool looking. It's just a regular shooter. Something that I don't really, I've got plenty of those type of thing. But I really like the look of it. There was like a targeting system on some of the missiles. So like you'll have missiles and you can target, and that was really nice. Because sometimes like you'll move. And you're staying stationary, but then it will curve a little bit.
Yeah.
And so then, like, there'll be, like, enemies to the side of you that are kind of behind you, but you can still shoot at them. So I thought that was really neat instead of being, like, they're creeping up on you.
Yeah.
It gets a little busy at times, too, which I thought was really nice. But really, I liked the presentation of the game. I thought it looked nice. The music was good. The menus were kind of crisp. Yeah. I mean... Compared to like the original,
Yeah.
they could do a lot with. You know, they had a lot to go on.
Yeah, they had a lot of room.
Yeah,
Res played similar to this, right?
Yeah, it sounds like Res.
Yeah, where you have the you're flying around and you highlight things with the cursor to shoot at them.
I love Res.
Yeah.
But I thought it had a very like long beginning.
Oh yeah,
because there's like this girl that's wearing a suit and
she's got to have revenge on something.
Yeah, and it's like these three guys in shrouds, and it's like this little story. I want to go back and rewatch it because summertime was vacuuming while it was going on, so I don't know if there's any audio, and I was like kind of like not reading it. And I'm
shocking.
Exactly.
How do you do a comic podcast?
I read comics.
Oh, okay.
It's a whole different story.
There aren't moving pictures to distract him.
Hey, if I've got
colors.
If I've got a comic book, I know
still
I've got
afraid
to
the
do
train is
that
gonna hit him.
work.
That's right.
Video games should be doing the work for me.
You tell me.
Yeah.
What's this reading shit?
Yeah, I've got a next generation.
What am I paying $10 for?
Console that I paid money for.
Talk to me.
I want the game to like hold my hand and go, okay, then you shoot that guy, and then you shoot that guy.
You want the action to pause and tell you what to do.
You dig a big hole and put a library in it.
No, that didn't tell you that.
I know that was all me.
That's the problem when games don't give you direction. You just end up digging as far down as you can.
Exactly.
And making a cave of a library cave.
That I don't,
Obviously.
that I don't
love
read
the
what's in
library
it.
cave.
And I don't read what's in the library cave because there's no pictures.
So you're hiding books from the world.
I love, also I love the whole like the duality of the fact that you took a library and put it in the darkest fucking place that you could.
I put a night I put a skylight.
Oh, that's
and
true.
lit up the thing.
It's like, what can I put down 100 feet underground? I know, a place to read. Like, that's your best
Where
pick.
all books should go in a hole.
A place to read.
Oh goodness gracious!
But Yars Revenge was really. I definitely check out the demo. It's totally worth checking out. I thought it really had a nice, really fluid. The gameplay was, I thought, and I thought the graphics were really tasty. Really cool.
Tasty.
I don't know. I wish I didn't even say that.
You did.
I know.
Craig has the power to fix that, but
No,
I
he
pray
won't.
that he won't.
Because the last show, and I couldn't come up with cutscenes, which I.
But you did now. Oh, you have notes.
But the
I
thing
thought that said cut Sean's.
scenes. People called me Scene, so I was like, put the two together.
I see.
He's got his own shorthand.
I thought
Fuck. You got your own language.
I thought we were going to need to have an after school special after this.
No, I know.
Your cutter problems.
But it's cuts. Oh yeah, I do have it. But
He left in your fail. Is that what the problem was? He left in your fail.
yeah, it was
last
still
episode?
there. It was me.
That's good.
well,
It should be.
because you can pretty much guarantee Jeremy's going to talk on top of it, which makes it uneditable.
Like, we can
I do it on purpose.
We could blame Jeremy, but
I jump right in there.
like, this is staying in.
I'm the anchor,
But
holding all your mistakes down.
I don't know if it's enough for me to spend the money to get the shirt. Although the shirt was really cool.
So maybe a sale.
Yeah, so maybe a sale, which segues. I'm going to
So are
do
you
a little.
saying your main impetus for getting the game would be the shirt?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I
Okay,
think
that's the way you were making it sound.
I think if they drop
It's
the
what
price,
he's fucking saying. What do you mean he doesn't think so?
if they
It is
drop-
what he's saying.
If they drop the price, I would probably jump on it. I would,
Yeah.
in a heartbeat. But I think the game's totally worth checking out compared to the first Yars Revenge. Yeah, you should check it out just to see what's going on. But yeah, and then I could segue into Unbound Saga.
Yeah,
from
speaking of
this.
games you don't buy because of Avatar items, let's talk about Unbound Saga
Yeah,
and dispel this rumor like right now.
I got to play some more game of it, and it's a guilty pleasure. I'm enjoying it.
Oh yeah,
You
Good.
like it?
Good.
It's the
I
main.
heard it's terrible.
It is terrible.
Well, that's why it's a guilty pleasure.
pleasure,
I guess.
yeah. Exactly.
Game
I'm
wise,
slow.
it's just button masher, button masher, button
Yeah.
masher. It's just it's a grind. You want to just get to
Yeah,
the end.
definitely.
But it's the dialogue. It's the little comic book pieces they put into the game that I really like. Him breaking the fourth wall a lot,
Right,
and
right.
realizing that he's part of a comic book and none of these other people are, and he's just like, all right, let's do this.
It's that comics zone feel.
Yeah, and it has that, and at $2 at a $2 price point,
Right,
I
right.
thought it was perfect because I pay $3 to $4 to $5 for a comic book,
That's true. That's a good point.
and I got a shirt, and down the road I'll be having my avatar look at comic books. Very cool stuff.
That's true.
So yeah, I got a little bit more into Unbound Saga, and it was worth
Holding up for you?
Cool.
It was worth the $2 price point
Good.
on it.
Well, there you
So,
go.
down the road, maybe Yara's Revenge will show up.
For $2.
Yeah, for $2.
I think the last thing in XBLA is Might and Magic Clash of Heroes. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Very excited about this game. I actually don't know much about it. Might and Magic is a series, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It is.
And
which I don't have a lot of history with.
Neither do I. I don't know anything about the other games, but I've played the demo for this one.
But luckily, you don't need to.
It's a 1,200 point game.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's yet another. No, I shouldn't say yet another. That sounds like I'm bad mouthing it, but it's another RPG puzzler, which I think is a great advance in puzzle games. You know, to kind of blend in some more story with it. And you know, it's a sword and sorcery fantasy style deal there, but it's a puzzle game that is completely unlike any other puzzle game I've really done.
Yeah, because normally when we talk about Puzzle Quest or a couple of the others,
Gyromancer,
that are marrying RPGs and puzzle games, they're usually doing it at the by stepping on another puzzle game that's already been established, like borrowing. So basically, Bejeweled, and just and morphing that into their own kind of game and adding RPG elements onto that,
right.
This game's not doing that.
That is not doing.
It's doing its own thing.
This is like half tactics, half puzzle.
Yes,
I mean, because
totally
you have to manage units, and so it's got kind of a feel like Final Fantasy Tactics, and then I'm completely forgetting this title. It was another Game Boy game. It was a lot of fun.
Tetris.
Pokemon.
No. But
Track and field.
Look, I liked watching the realization of you trying to get away from this. Like where you're like, why did I even say that? I can't think of this.
Namco Classics.
So you gain different units throughout time, and I guess there are even like secret units for each group.
Oh, are there?
Yeah, and then so there's a campaign. There's also multiplayer, but with the campaign, there's like essentially 4 different or 5 different campaigns.
It just seems so long.
Yeah,
there's
which is
so
awesome.
much stuff in there.
Yeah,
I think the screen was advertising like 15 hours of gameplay, which I wouldn't doubt at all.
I would not,
because I spent almost an hour on the demo.
I know, and and so okay, so here's
Sean, you played it too, right?
Yeah.
Here's how it works.
I don't
essentially.
get it. I'm just sitting here in amazement of you guys. But
man.
whatever.
And this is a game that totally, what you were
much.
just talking about a minute ago, they explain exactly what you have to do. I mean, they show you the square you have to highlight.
Oh, yeah.
They tell you exactly everything to do.
I know.
You just got to be willing to learn.
I know.
But
For your mind, Sean.
so here's essentially
rest
how it
will
works.
follow.
You gain units, different kinds of units, and then so you have 3 slots for units. And if you only are using one type of unit, then it'll be 3 different colors of that.
Yes.
And then there are also 2 extra slots that are for elite units that you learn about later down the road. And so your units, the screen is divided into a top and a bottom, and the top is where the enemy's army is, and the bottom is where your army is, and they just kind of randomly scatter them up there. And so you have to create attack units, and the way that you create an attack unit is by creating a column of 3 dudes of the same type and the same color. And then they'll have a turn counter, and depending on how powerful they are, what kind of character they are, then it'll take a certain amount of turns before they can attack. And then they'll have a certain power of the attack. And I notice also that if they have more than one turn for the attack, they're building up their attack power. And if somebody hits them while they're building up their attack power, that reduces the total amount of attack.
Oh, does it? I
Yeah.
guess I wasn't looking that closely at that.
Because I had that later on when I was fighting against enemies. I didn't have it happen against me necessarily, but I hit like a charging column of enemies, and so I knocked them down from 5 to 2.
I did see that on
to
the
2,
attack
and so
part,
then
yeah.
their attack was weaker when they finally
they
got
didn't
around
hurt you
to
as
it.
much.
Yeah, exactly. And so you can do that for an attack column, and if you make a row of 3 characters, same character of same color, then you can create a wall. And then there's all this stuff that goes into it as well. So you can link different groups together so they attack in tandem and get extra power. You can create rows by removing characters in between, like a group of 2 and 1, and so then they shuffle together, and that gives them a boost in power. You can fuse,
and that gives you a bonus move too. If you take somebody away, like if you remove somebody and then like you make a 3 match by doing that, it gives you an extra move.
And
back.
I really like that aspect because that emphasizes the puzzle part of the game as opposed to just saying, well, it's a tactics game. I'm just going to play it as a tactics game.
Yes.
No, it does encourage you. The more you play it like a puzzle game, then the better you can do, the more powerful your army becomes.
And as I start throwing more and more of those things in, I was like finding myself sitting there at the battlefield, like, what do I need to do? Like trying to look at everything, and it all of a sudden became this big strategy thing of like where I need to place these people, and I would just sit there and stare at the battlefield for like 2 minutes, and I'd be like, where do I need to line these guys up?
And you can grab people and move them elsewhere, but you can only grab dudes who are on the outside.
Yes, the bottom one.
I mean, you can remove people in the middle, but they're going to go to your reserves. And I love how after anyone attacks or anyone gets hit or turns into a wall or something, they just go to your reserves, and you can use one of your actions to call up all your reserves, and it'll just randomly spit out.
Throw them back up there.
Yeah, more characters out there. Then there are the elite characters who do really powerful attacks and really powerful things. They have a limited number, but you can purchase more of them, and so basically, like, because you get deer. Because you start off in the elf campaign, and you get these deer elite ones, and it looks like there's like at least 5 different elite characters that you can get, but you can only have 2 working for your army at any point, at any single battle.
Right.
And I saved them for the big boss battle, but you can purchase more of them using the money that you gain from the battles, and I had a lot of fun with it. I really liked the puzzle aspect to it.
And then on top of that, all your units are also leveling up.
Yes.
So like your character levels up,
they're
but then
leveling
like
up.
the more you use the units and the more damage they do, the more attacks that they do.
That's why I really wish I could remember
They level
this
up.
other tactics game for the Game Boy that I loved playing, because it did the similar thing. You would level up your characters. And yeah, well, I guess Final Fantasy Tactics does that too.
Wasn't there just like advanced tactics?
That's what it is.
there you
Advanced
go.
Tactics. Thank you.
That was the military one, right?
Yeah, and I think it was the training that really made me feel like that, because they had a very similar training where they're showing you things. They didn't have the puzzle aspect where you're trying to line things up and color coordinate and all of that, but yeah, linking and fusing together.
There's fusing too, where it's like if you make another column underneath one that already exists, like of the same type, then it adds them on top of it.
But it goes with the shortest timer, so you can shoot off like this huge attack like immediately, or
and then you
something
also
like
build
that.
up like your special attack, where you build up your magic by taking damage or doing damage, both,
or making combos,
and then you hit your Y and you launch this like special attack, which I think for the elf is those arrows.
Yeah, the arrows.
Shoot.
There's
just a lot of stuff, and so it is very overwhelming at first. So I can definitely see where Sean's coming from.
Yes and no. Yeah.
Well, but see, I think if you don't play a lot of those kind of games, if you're not in tune to wanting to play like a strategy type puzzler, like that kind of game, there's just a lot going on.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
And you, I mean, but they really spaced it out well, I thought. And so
too.
like they added things on top of each other that didn't make sense at first, but the more you played with it, it did.
And if you didn't want to hear about it, you didn't have to take that tutorial.
That's true. Then you just wouldn't know what's going on.
Right.
Yeah, I'll to be honest, I quit early on it because I was playing it. I ended up winning, and I didn't know how I won. And there's a couple things that I was moving people around, and I was just like, I didn't get the gist of the game.
Yeah.
I like Final Fantasy Tactics.
Do you?
I played that for PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
One.
Oh, maybe it was one.
I don't know.
I think I played it on PlayStation 2, but it doesn't mean it was a PlayStation 2 game.
And that was a game that when I first got it, I absolutely hated it. But once I played more and more of it, I really got used to it and really started to dig it. And the animation was cool too. But this one, there was a part where I was playing, I was like, I don't understand what I just did to do what I did. And that's where I was lost at.
You have to read like some of the heads ups displays that are going on.
There you go.
And keep track of that stuff. But
I wasn't expecting like all the. I wasn't definitely expecting, because this is also exists as a DS game.
Yeah.
Oh,
this version of it, and this has been a little touched up, I think, as far as graphic wise and some of the items and artifacts.
DS game,
And that's what I was about to say, is that I kind of am stuck where I haven't finished Puzzle Quest.
Right.
There's that other one that came out last year that I haven't finished as well, that are sitting on my Xbox. So it was like, why would I want to add another one of these to that scenario?
Yeah.
But I could definitely see myself wanting to find it on the DS and having this in a mobile kind of format, because I think that'd be kind of awesome.
Right.
So I might be seeking it out on that avenue and not so much on my Xbox at this point.
that's understandable. I don't have that same problem. So honestly,
Right.
if I wasn't broke right now, I would probably be playing it right this moment.
Picking
you
it
guys
up.
would be working on
Wow,
by
that's
yourself.
Very rude of you, dick. But no, I enjoy it a lot. I mean, I love
Do I
those
live
kind of
in
games.
your town?
Yes, you're invited.
He's the mayor of Dicktown.
Dicktown welcomes you with open arms and legs.
Yikes.
I don't know what that means. Yes, I do. I
No,
mean
I don't.
crotch. But this game, if I maybe get back on subject, sorry. Sean, are you okay?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm just laughing.
I love these kind of games. I love these puzzler RPG combos, and they all have the same kind of look to them as far as like the story mode of it.
Yeah.
But I'm a total sucker for it, and I just love the building up and the leveling up, and I was not expecting this kind of gameplay out of it because, as I mentioned before, it was on DS, but I didn't look into the game. Right. I didn't know anything about the game prior to now. And so I didn't know how the game was going to play. I went in with these impressions of, I already know how this is going to go.
Right.
And it totally changed that. And when I started getting new units and like you can change out what units you're using.
Yeah.
And you could like, so you get like, you start with the archers.
Yeah.
You get the fairies that can do like magic attacks.
Right.
Then you get the bears, which do stronger attacks.
But they take longer to build up. Yeah.
Right. But you can make your entire force all bears if you want to. You can make them all archers if you want to. I mean, there is obviously strategy
but then you end up with 3 different colors.
Exactly.
And so then you have color coordination problems as well. So.
Exactly. But I really like that you can tailor your units like that. I think that's
cool.
really awesome. So I'm really looking forward to playing it in one form or another.
Yeah, I mean, Puzzle Quest. I like Puzzle Quest. I like Galactrix. I like those games. But at the same time, it's like it's just kind of a puzzle, you know. With Gyromancer, it was kind of the other way around. It was less RPG and more just the puzzle game. So that was okay for me because there wasn't Bejeweled Twist on XBLA. So at that point, and so you know, but with the Puzzle Quest ones, you know, it was like the gameplay wasn't intriguing enough for me to really want to do it. But this one, that is totally the draw in for me.
Yeah, because I mean, in Puzzle Quest there is strategy, and as far as
there is.
You know, going for certain kinds of matches, and then
charging up your magic
and
attacks.
using a magic attacks, but it's really limited to that. This is like you said, tactics. I mean, it's your position, it's setting up people, it's moving people, it's calling up people at the right time, and that stuff is very different.
Actions
That's very different.
Yeah.
So I love it.
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
Cool. Maybe I'll give it a second go through.
You should.
I didn't get
read it.
I didn't get to the bears.
Read it.
There's
The
a lot of
bears.
dialogue.
The bears got tattoos.
It's so
Okay, here's the
depressing
thing.
sometimes
Here's
for
the
a
thing,
man.
though. Don't get it's segmenting out. You don't really need to read the story dialogue.
Yeah.
So you can skip through that, but read the battle stuff and like any of the stuff they pop up about your abilities. That stuff's important. So if you sidetrack the other stuff, maybe you'll be okay on that.
Yeah.
Because you don't need to worry about the story. Who cares? But like the gameplay, like that stuff is really well done and walks you through amazingly, I thought.
Yeah.
It just builds really quick.
It's really helpful.
It builds like thing after thing after thing.
I might be temperamental on what I spend my time with. I might just be stuck to crap now. Maybe that's what I'll just play crap. Maybe that'll be my new shtick.
You just play the worst
Just
games.
play just fine. I tend to do that.
What about your cave, man?
That cave. That's a total different bird.
Is that it for XBLA?
Man
that's
cave.
Before we get back on the cave?
Yes.
All right. All right. Well, this game's
the lotion on the skin. Oh.
the disc games this episode, I guess, are going to be us going back to some older games because nothing new
style.
came out.
Yeah.
So I don't know where to start.
Just add the rewind music, right?
I can add in some Lego Star Wars 3 if you guys want me to kick it off.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Lego Star Wars 3. I played some more. I was going to finish the game. Finished all 3 campaigns.
Okay.
Did not get my achievement for unlock or like doing the Jedi Master, like so getting the stud count for every level. Didn't get that, so I'm like, well, that's great. Is there some kind of like flaw, like bug with they're glitched out because they have some problems sometimes in those Lego games with achievements.
You weren't done.
And then I'm like, oh, there's another epilogue section of the game. I didn't know there was another level, so I went and fought this big guy that was annoying as all hell. It sucked.
Sean's got a giddy look on his face and nodding.
It was terrible.
vigorously.
That battle was stupid.
It was.
Yeah, that was bad.
That last epilogue was just that. Yeah.
So I did that and still didn't get my Jedi Mastery thing. I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know there was a whole other ship that you could go to, like at all. Did you know that?
Another.
Okay, so like you're in the like main ship where you select your missions.
Yeah.
Did you know you could leave that ship and go to another ship, and that's where all the bad guys are?
Bad guy missions.
Fucking A.
Right.
I might buy this game today.
That's what I'm talking about.
I don't even have the money to do so, but I might have.
So you go down to the
I'm not
hangar.
rerunning that thing again and again and again and again.
I did 3 times.
God. Well, I did 3 times as
You
well.
go down to the hangar and you pull up a
bitch.
ship.
You should talk to my friend Chance. He might loan you his.
You go down to the hangar and you pull up a ship, and if you get in the ship, you fly out and you're flying around, and you can go over to the, I can't remember what it's called, the invisible hand, or does that make sense?
Okay. No, but I know what you're talking
Something
about.
like that. You go over and you land there,
The Intrepid.
and it's all bad guys walking around
That
in
is
there.
awesome.
And so there's a whole other ship to go through. But you show up. So here's what my problem is, however, because I couldn't figure out where you unlock like any of the Sith guys, because
Yeah.
you do need their powers,
Yeah.
and none of them were unlocking anywhere.
Right.
So you go over there, and that's where you can buy those people. Problem is, if you show up as a good guy, they kill you
attack you.
instantly. As well as if you show up as a bad guy over on the other side, they kill you instantly. So there are things that you need to use crosswise that because I haven't unlocked anybody that's considered a quote unquote good guy that can use the Sith Jedi powers.
Okay.
But you on the good ship, you do need a Jedi guy or a Sith
what about
guy.
NPCs? Do they attack NPCs?
Yes.
Okay, generic characters, I mean.
Yeah. So the guys that are just running around
Yeah,
will,
yeah.
if you're controlling like a Sith guy, he'll attack you. So if you need to go to the good ship to unlock this thing, like where they have the prisoner room basically, and it's
Yeah.
all bad guys that open up stuff, like
Yeah.
bounty hunters, you'll be taking fire the entire time and dying like every 2 steps. But you need to use them to unlock any of that shit. And I'm like, this is annoying. So I don't know how there's a fix for that, but it was annoying. It was super annoying.
Use your Jedi powers to deflect it all.
But that being said,
That's messed up.
there are 2 additional missions that you access through that ship in certain spots.
That is awesome.
And then you play as the bad guys doing a mission that's like a side mission thing.
That is.
And then when you do
la
those 2,
Batman.
it unlocked me for, so at least it wasn't like Batman where it was like a ton of them.
Right.
Because there was a lot of
that was
those.
a whole
half of the game.
Yeah,
right?
it was a whole game.
Yeah.
And that's what I was expecting when I showed up there, and I'm like, "Oh shit!" Because I just spent like 4 days, like just getting through worth of time, getting through the good guy section. I'm like, if I have to do this all again for the bad guy section, that's going to be ridiculous. There was only 2 missions.
That's awesome.
But then when I did that, then it unlocked these bounty hunter missions, and so you play as a bounty hunter, and you have to go into these. You have timed missions to go in and get these dudes.
Cool.
So you go back into old levels, and like some of them you'll have 3 minutes, some of them you'll have a minute.
So you're just hunting down one particular
They're
character?
hidden somewhere
Nice.
within a section you're at, and so you have to find out where they're at.
Cool.
And one of them was like Yoda, and he's basically way in the back of this section, and he's behind a bush. But you don't know that until you just run by him. So basically, you're spending like 3 minutes over and over and over finding out where he is in this whole like section. But he's just hidden back behind this thing. So I only did a couple of those, but
Wonder if there's an extra that spots them for you.
I don't know. But it was. There's just so much to it. It's again, like I said, it's just the game never ends. It just keeps going, going and going and going.
That's those Lego games.
But
my friend.
I do have not a bone to pick with you, but a clarification to make, and it's not a bone. I'm not going to fight you.
I didn't develop the game. I didn't come up with the Star Wars universe.
I did get to those sections that were like the more like the tower defense game, but they're not tower defense. They're more RTS. Like the real-time strategy kind of things where you build up your units, and I wanted tower
you make
defense.
turrets, right?
Oh.
You do, but they just sit there and
See, yeah.
you take over like other areas and like have to destroy their things,
Right.
and I found them to be not fun at all.
Oh, really?
I was really looking forward
I
to
had heard
them.
from other people that was some of their favorite parts.
I thought it was terrible.
Those were my favorite because what I would do is I would build up until like I had like the big stuff. That was fun.
I think maybe my problem with it was
Were you
making
pushing
the
in
shield
too deep, too
generate,
fast?
making the shield generators.
You know
and
me.
stuff.
It's the motto of Dicktown. Well, I think my problem was that
I don't want to go to Dicktown anymore.
I think that
It used to be horse it in, but then they
now it's
voted
too
that
deep, too
out.
fast.
all right. Listen,
We are listening.
the problem that
That's the problem.
I think the problem that I had was that you were limited on the number of things you could build.
Yeah.
So if you built something on one place, you couldn't ever build it again.
Yeah, you have limited resources.
Well, yeah, but you could only build it once.
I see.
So like there was like 3 different kinds of gun or like ship drops. But if you build it here, you could never build that kind of ship drop on another thing.
Oh yeah.
So if you built one thing that you needed, and things required specific ships. So if you needed something, you had to go find what place you put it on, and it was kind of annoying, I thought. and that you were just in this huge area trying to maneuver around it, and it was really slow if you weren't in a vehicle of some sort.
Well, I always liked, there's speeders everywhere, which I thought was awesome. And then the fact that,
irritating.
like, I set up one of those tank drop ships, and then I would be in the speeder to go back to get one of those tanks, and it would be walking past me. Like,
yeah, that's true. If they were walking around.
Yeah, I just jump on it, steal it, and then I don't know.
There was just lots of it. Maybe it was that I did them all in a row. Because that section that you go through with Dorku, whatever his name is, it's like almost every level is one of those.
Yeah,
I don't think that's it.
Dooku?
That's it.
Dooku's got
Dorku
the most,
is your impression of Star
correct.
Wars fans.
Yeah,
That's correct. It wasn't accidentally reached. So anyway, there was a lot to the game, and it keeps going. But I was not a huge fan with that RTS section.
Oh, that's too bad.
I don't know. That's just me, apparently.
Yeah,
Apparently. Well, I wanted to get to Lego Star Wars 3, as I mentioned earlier, but I didn't because I also forgot, how enormous Lego games are when I was playing Lego Harry Potter.
2 Lego games don't make it right, man. I don't know. You getting 2 Lego games? 2 Lego games at the same time, that just would make my brain melt. I wouldn't even know what to do. Because I'd be like, I can't play
That's why I
the
went
other
chronologically.
It's probably a good call.
What are you talking about? Star Wars comes before Harry Potter every time.
Yikes. So what do you think of the Harry Potter game?
It's really cool. I actually really like this one. It stands out from the other ones, I think.
I agree.
And I think a large part of that is the magic. And so you're not just busting things all the time like you are in pretty much every Lego game. There's a lot more variety of interaction that you have with the environment around you.
Yeah,
and
with the different spells.
And I think that, and then even, just, turning things on and,
Yes.
whatever. And I think that adds quite a bit to it. And then, a lot of it takes place, you have to run through Hogwarts. So they've really done a neat job of incorporating the levels and then the level selection area. I mean, you have the whatever cauldron. I can't remember it now. The
Cauldron of Fire?
The bar where you go to go to Diagon Alley and purchase your stuff, and you can replay free play missions and all of that. So it still has that central hub where you can go to whatever mission, but Hogwarts itself works as that hub as well.
It's huge.
Yeah, and it's huge. And it's nice that they have a guide for you pretty much everywhere. And so, there are always guide arrows, but then even those are like clear across the room. And so you can follow this ghost dude around. And if you get the extra that collects, because he drops little ghost studs that don't do anything until you get like this extra that allows you to collect them. And then they're like 1,000 a piece. So I just kind of follow him through a room, and then I'll turn around and go back into the room and then kind of follow him across the room again, and if I need to make some money really quickly. But it's pretty great. I've been having a lot of fun with it, but it is immense.
How far are you through it? Did you?
I finished the story. I'm going.
Oh, okay,
I'm
cool.
going back through on replay. I've gotten everything out of year 1 now, and I'm working through year 2 for getting everything.
Cool.
I got through some of those bonus levels in the bank, but I found out pretty quickly that you kind of run out. You can be very limited in what you can do in some of those bonus levels
If you don't have everybody. Yeah.
Because finding Slytherin dudes or evil wizards, took forever.
I agree.
For me to do, but now I have. So now I have an evil wizard, because evil wizards can do the most of anybody. They can affect things that sparkle kind of red, and so now I basically just lead into every level with one of those. But I was going around in Hogwarts, and so in Hogwarts you're just stuck with Harry, Hermione, and Ron. But they have the Polyjuice potions around, and so I would turn Harry into like Voldemort, and then I'd turn Ron into that goblin dude from the bank, so he could open all the vaults for me.
Nice.
And then Hermione as herself, so she could use the grandfather clocks when she finds them. And I liked that they had little hidden levels there. And I actually discovered some sort of like side story levels. And I'm like, how did I miss this? Because I had finished the game. I had already gone through all of year 1 again. And then I was wandering around, and I kind of wandered into Hagrid's backyard. And there's this story thing going on. And I'm like,
Yeah.
and then I realized, oh, okay, so these were not essential for the story themselves, but they're memorable moments from the books, and so they wanted to create them.
Very cool.
And they hid them there.
Very cool.
Yeah, and that was a lot of fun. I liked that they added that in there, and then
there's just so much to that game, isn't there?
There is, yeah.
And you just keep finding more stuff.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm at the point where I got the extras, so they help point out where, whether or not I need to be looking for like gold bricks or, parts of the crest or, red bricks in that area, which is helpful so that I'm not completely scouring things that I don't need to completely scour. And, at this point, money's not a problem whatsoever because, I've got like 500 million studs.
Yeah.
Thanks to the multipliers and all that jazz. But
I cheat.
I didn't do the cheat. I didn't have too much trouble just because, you don't get a lot of things when you first start.
Right.
Because you can't activate as many things throughout Hogwarts until you get better spells. But yeah, no, I liked it quite a bit. I can't decide if I like Batman better than this one or vice versa because they do feel very different, and I think the magic is quite, although, so here's the deal. So with magic spells, most people are kind of the same. You can use pretty much anybody. I mean, there are a couple types of characters that you have to have. Someone who can dig, but Hermione can summon someone who can dig.
Right.
If you want to open vaults, you need the goblin. The goblin's the only one who can open vaults, and you have to have a big guy in order to pull chains and things like that. But beyond that, a vast majority of the characters have all of the spells. And so, I find less need to be using a diverse number of characters.
Right.
And there are 146 characters in this damn game. There are so many characters there that for the main 3 characters, because you can basically get every iteration they make for the story in there.
Yeah.
There are so many that with the main 3 characters, you have, Harry, Ron, and Hermione, and they'll have that, and then they have this one that just cycles through the dozen other costumes that they have, and so you can just sit there waiting for it.
The versions of them.
There's so many on that screen, they decided to compact them, and it still takes up an entire screen.
I got to tell you this. I think there's even more in Star Wars 3.
There's a lot. That screen.
I think there's even more.
Well, that's reason. I mean, that's
and they pop up.
Reasonable, yeah.
Well, but it's not because it's the same kind of scenario where they've got like this guy does this function, but there's like 40 of this guy that do the same thing. You know what I mean?
Well, but that's something that's always been in Lego games, though.
Right. But there's a lot.
I'm talking about. If I have a Dark Wizard, for example.
Yes.
If I'm running around as Voldemort, I don't need to change to anybody else unless I need to pull a chain or open a vault,
right?
Or use the grandfather clock. There's like a very finite number of things that he can't do, and so there's less impetus for me to be changing around.
Right. I hate in Star Wars 3 when you get a new character and they pop up the thing, because the thing will get big, like to show you where that fits in.
Yeah. And
you're free running around when you unlock the characters in Star Wars 3, and you literally cannot see anything that's happening.
Oh, it doesn't pause the action like it does in Harry Potter.
So you can't see anything that's happening because the entire thing is taken up by little character heads.
Nice.
Annoying.
My favorite extra, though, was, I can't remember if this is the exact title for it, but the fall save. So basically, if I fall off, it grabs me and saves me. So I after I got that, I stopped losing any studs for falling off.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because it's a Lego game, and so
you fall a lot.
You fall a lot. They are not the greatest platform.
Do you have any targeting problems?
No, because I'm right, and you can hold down the X button and kind of use that to target for whatever spell you want. You don't even have to switch to that proper spell. It will automatically do that if you stay on top of it.
I wasn't able to do it in
Star
Wars 3.
Really?
Yeah. And maybe I was doing stuff because whenever you would hold down the X, it would
you have to be close enough.
Yeah, I was still close enough, and it wouldn't do it. So
yeah,
I was still having like nonstop problems in Star Wars.
Because sometimes because I would have problems with targeting things, but if I was just free shooting, but then I would use the X cursor and it would do there would be something way high on the wall that I needed to use the purple levitation spell on, and so I would just kind of move the cursor up there and it would automatically start to swirl purple, and I'd just stay there until it activated, even if I didn't have that spell activated on my thing. So
awesome.
That's one I've been wanting to try out.
Harry Potter. You should.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
I think I might watch, get the movies taken care of, the ones that are out on DVD. I'm behind. I thought I was. We talked about that one after one show recorded, and I thought I was caught up, and I was way off. But that's the one I always wanted to try. So
You should.
yeah,
It's
cool.
awesome.
A lot of fun moments.
Oh, I guess I could. All Stars, WWE
Yeah.
All Stars. I have to kind of go back on what I said last show because the demo I had a lot of fun with, and the real game I did not.
Oh, that's too bad. What was different?
Having a lot of problems, same ones that Jeremy had. I ended up being Rey Mysterio most of the time because that's who I got used to in the demo. I tried playing other guys, and I was having it was more or less control problems, and I don't know. It just, whenever I feel I had someone held, I didn't, and all, it just vice versa, things like that happening.
So,
but
why do you think it was different than the demo?
I don't know. Maybe it was just maybe Rey Mysterio, his moveset is easier for me to get a hold of. But I mean, I was getting hammered by a ton of people, and I think that was driving me nuts. Is that I'd get people on the ropes to the point where all I had to do was do the finisher, and if I couldn't connect the finisher, and then they'd turn a finisher on me and end the match.
Right.
And it just became so aggravating. But played some of the the modes were really cool. Like you touched base on some of those were very neat. I liked like the intros, and I still couldn't beat that stupid Sheamus guy with Ultimate Warrior. That guy's stupid, man. I'm so glad I don't watch wrestling anymore.
There's a lot about that game I just did not have fun with.
But
Like, it just seemed really limited and not fun.
yeah, I creating the character I thought was really neat because it just paid homage back to the olden days when I used to choose move sets and do all those. I thought that was really neat about it. Set an entry. I thought that for the fact that it was a little bit limited, but still you were able to do some more. You couldn't really dive into it like you could with the SmackDown games, but still really neat. I mean, my guy was awesome, and he was a cool wrestler. He had a Captain America outfit on. It was awesome.
That doesn't sound very cool.
It was very cool. Shut up.
So you were just kind of on it?
I was and
That's
it's too bad that the demo was like. I was like, this is
demo,
really
then.
cool. Yeah, I was like, but I think that was the thing is like it was limited to that, and that's all you got to do, and you only got those characters.
Yeah.
So I got aggravated with Ultimate Warrior, started playing with Rey, but yeah, when I wanted to, it was the RKO. That's all I ever wanted to do, and I could not connect it, and so I was like, well, screw it, I can do the 619, and that's what I did.
There you go.
There you go. I couldn't beat Undertaker to save my life ever.
Well,
He's a joke.
he is the living dead.
He's a jerk. But some of the finishers, I went through some of the characters and tried to get, like, I got Cena's move down and a couple other ones. And I really like the look of it, like the over the top, when it would go into, like, $6 million man mode where you hear the and then it'd go into slow motion.
See, but I'm,
I like, it was that that brought the arcade feel into it.
Yeah.
But that wasn't enough to win me over.
I was not a fan of that either, though.
See, and
I didn't like the over the top, like everybody looking all hooked out.
Yeah. I mean, I do. I like arcade style games when they do that kind of stuff, but I expect it to be a little bit dumber down, and for some reason, the controller, the fighting should have been dumbed down a little bit more.
I agree. That's what doesn't make sense. Is that like overall the package as far as like the game modes, the style, everything else is like really basic and drilled down to the most basic things.
Yeah.
And then the controls were not done that way.
Yeah.
Like, it looks like it should be a game that you can just pick up and play anybody, but then the controls don't operate that way. And so it's really odd, and it's at odds with itself, in my opinion.
And that's what threw me off. And some wrestlers I had a better time playing with it, but some didn't, because I wanted to go through and try to do all the finishers on all of them. But I was like, this is getting to the point where I don't care anymore.
That's too bad.
You can only get beat by some jobber too many times. And then some of the characters I don't even know, so I didn't care about them.
Right.
So
Who are these people?
Superstars. And then the
like the
legends.
newer people.
Yeah,
I would have liked more legends. And they had a whole bunch of people that were like available as DLC. I know.
Yeah.
But then they had a bunch of people that were DLC that I'm like, why weren't these in the game?
Yeah.
Why are these other dudes? They had all these new dudes, and I don't watch wrestling, so I don't know. Yeah, exactly.
I could not beat Jake the Snake.
Maybe someone can get through that TV show and get as a DLC character for the game. What's the TV show called again?
Tough Enough.
Tough Enough.
I shit my pants.
No. But all in all, not that great of a game.
That's too bad.
But all in all.
Yeah.
Are we done? You got
What about Crysis?
Crysis.
I got a little update on Crysis.
Go for it,
too.
'cause I think that's it. Take us home, Sean.
Really love the look, love the feel. But I've got to put this one in my Halo first-person entry of games.
You getting the vertigo again?
I got the vertigo
dun.
big time in this game.
That's too bad. Well, it is pretty fast paced, isn't it?
It is very fast.
Yeah. It's not. I really enjoyed the look. I love the feel. I had a lot of fun playing it, but there was parts in it where it just got so hectic, and I would just run out. I'd run out of ammo, and I need to use the suit, and I need to use the abilities. But there's a part of me that doesn't like the stealth aspect of any game where I can't just go, "Hey, I got the suit. I should be able to go up to people and choke them out and kill them and slam them." And I want to jump to that building.
And see, that's
I got too. I didn't even get that far into the game. It just.
I think that's the key, is that it is frantic when stuff's going down. It really is make your own pace.
Yeah.
Because you can go as slow or as balls out as you want.
Yeah.
But when the action starts,
Like Russian attack.
Yeah.
when the action starts, though, it's like it gets really hectic.
Yeah.
And it's like it's hard to like shut everything down at that point. It's like you got to pretty much take out everybody that's there before it slows down again.
Yeah. And the aliens showing up, I hated the fact that I felt very like I felt like I could handle the humans easily and no problem. And then when the aliens, like if 2 showed up, I didn't know what to do. I honestly felt overpowered and outmatched, and I didn't get that far into the game. I mean, obviously because I hadn't got too many upgrades, and I'm starting to find guns. I really like the heads up display. I like looking at pulling the gun up, and like I like that kind of, really some neat aspects to the game, but. Again, it might have just been in my mode of what was going on, and it did derail me from even trying out Homefront. I rented Homefront. I didn't even play
that's
it
too bad.
because I was like, I don't want to deal with this other first-person shooter.
Would you have responded a little more strongly? You think if it had slightly more arcadey elements, kind of like Vanquish?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
But that's me. I mean, that's what won me over for Vanquish. It was that it was still that first person, but at the same
that's third
person. Yeah, but I mean, that's what won me over for Vanquish is all that little extras. I mean, but
Because
this one
that
had
got
it too.
really chaotic, and then there'd be you'd have 2 mechs going on at the same time. You're like, holy shit, what am I gonna do?
And that I liked. It's just it seemed like this one I don't know. I didn't get the story that well either.
Yeah.
And that might be because it's not, and everybody, I thought it was really neat that, you're taking over for the other guy.
Did you talk about the story at all, Jim?
Not really. I mean, it's so, I don't know. You're just basically you get the suit,
Yeah.
and there's really not much more to it than that. There is a backstory as far as like where you're at and why you're in the situation you're in. But
Is it a big company that's in New York or wherever?
I don't remember the exact deals that came from like the first.
I
I don't think that they give you like enough of the backstory of the first game to like go in, and they do give you some in flashbacks, but it's so like. I can't even remember now, like what a lot of the setup was because it's so unimportant at that time.
The thing is, like some virus broke out, and then and that's why I started thinking maybe it was the company where the virus broke out, and that's who's trying to clean up the mess, and that's who's taking you on because you're like a Marine, and I'm assuming, hey, well, I should have.
I took over the suit.
Yeah, I'm the good guy,
right?
And then these guys are like, and they're flying in and out like no problem, and I'm having a hard time just getting around the city.
I know.
But it looked beautiful.
It looks great,
yeah. And but maybe down the road. Who knows?
The score's awesome.
Yeah, and exactly.
The music's awesome.
I thought the audio was really good on it. It was a game that I think I would have more fun watching someone play.
Sure.
That knew what they were doing.
Exactly.
Jimmy, you don't want to watch me.
So I get some 13-year-old to come over to my house and show me how to play Crysis 2.
Oh, that's your reason. Remind me,
on
Jim.
paper.
I have plenty of those already at the house. They just aren't allowed to play games.
Okay.
And I've completely forgotten what I wanted to ask
Probably
you.
good because I probably didn't know the answer.
Oh, I was going to ask you to remind me, were you saying that you were having some first-person FPS fatigue as well?
Yes.
Last episode? Okay. Yeah.
And I think that was my big problem with the game.
Yeah, I mean, there's just been a lot of them
Although I
coming
do
out.
recommend playing Homefront if you want a slowed down experience.
See? That's
In
what I
terms
should
Like
of
slow
walking.
motion.
That's what I should have done.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
You'd be like, is this guy's legs broken? Am I crawling?
His shoelaces are tied together, actually.
That game's not that fun, though. Homefront. I didn't have a good time with it.
I didn't even. But that was.
But
the
it is a
game that-
much different experience.
and
than
that's the
Crysis.
game that I wanted to check out just for the story alone. So who knows? Down the road. I don't know.
Who knows?
It was in that frame of mind. I'd
Story-
rather play some poker.
Story-wise, I wanted it to be kind of like Metro 2033
Yeah.
was, but from what I hear, it's not.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
Nope. Is that it? We done?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh.
Woo. How about
See, we
that?
talked about a bunch.
We got
You
more than
were
an hour out of there.
worried.
Well, once Dicktown came up, we had lots to talk about.
Dicktown and the Library Cave.
You know, before we do our normal spiel, I do want to throw out a mention real quick. We did get a couple of emails in the last couple of weeks.
What?
I know, right?
If there must be bad if he's reading them.
No. They were actually good. The first one came from Roger Miller, who wanted to give us a shout and let us know that the Duodecade game that you were talking about sounded essentially just like the card game from Final Fantasy VIII.
That's what it was. That's what I was. Yes.
So that's what he was trying to give us a
Yes.
hand, I believe, and,
Thank
and
you.
help us out.
I appreciate that. Yes. No, it is exactly like that.
Right.
It is
like,
exactly
And he said
like that.
he was amazed that it took this long for somebody to make a game based on that.
I played the hell out of that game on Final Fantasy.
Exactly.
VIII,
Me too. And I totally forgot about it.
Me too. Damn.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So
now I
thank
wanna
you,
play Final
sir.
Fantasy VIII.
Thank you, sir. And then also a quick mention or a thanks to Denise, BuckyCat98, who dropped us an email with her thoughts on Dragon Age 2. And she gave a lot of awesome commentary on that, and I
Awesome.
appreciate it. And she said some nice things about the show, so thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I so want to get back to Dragon Age 2.
I know.
But that's not going to happen for a while.
That's another one I want to add to my stack of unplayed games. I can't wait to buy it and then not play it like everything else I have.
You should just
Yay.
make your own rental shop.
Well, one thing in particular she was mentioning, she mentioned a couple different things
Oh,
that
yeah.
we didn't cover, and one of them was that she'd played through on multiple times, and the way that she
Wow,
did her
nice.
character, the way that she did her character, it acted differently automatically on its own based on how she acted with the character. So
Nice.
even some cutscenes and things like that were different, and things that were not in her control, which is awesome.
I was wondering if that would happen
yeah.
because there would be things that I'm like, oh, that fits my character pretty well.
And I don't know how many permutations there are to that.
Sure,
but,
sure.
But it's at least if there's a couple. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm probably not even going to play it twice. So
That's-
to know that there's at least a couple is awesome.
yeah. No, I'd probably go all Alpha Protocol on that stuff.
So thank you for the note.
knowing me,
I almost want to like hire someone to play that game for me, and then videotape them. Like I'll give them a script of what I want them to do, and then they just videotape it, and then I'll watch it at my leisure, like a show.
at your leisure.
I'm not watching that show.
You don't have to. That's the best part.
Signed in
You have enough
podcast.
shows to watch.
Signed in podcast. If you want to email us, it's comments@signedinpodcast.com.
Yes.
So shoot us an email. We'd love to mention it here. Or
Yeah.
Please.
And if, like I said, hate mail is going to get read more often than not. So
Why you gotta go?
let us know. I know. Well, it's phishing. Now it'll be
Yeah.
our official hate.
Yeah.
You guys suck and stuff. That's not
right.
going to do it.
I've been wanting to write this for
See,
a while.
We need death threats.
Your pleas are too hard, too deep.
death threats.
Too deep.
If I get a death threat for doing a video game podcast, then I don't know. That's weird.
People are not stable, you know.
I know that, but that's not stable.
Signedinpodcast.com. That is our website. You can find links to our Twitter, our Facebook fan page, all of our past episodes, our forums, all the other pseudo radio shows like the Pull List and 3 Die Block. Is Out of Continuity gone?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
No.
Still hanging on?
Yeah. Well, I
If
just
you-
didn't get around. I had to update like the password.
Out
and
of
stuff.
Continuity may die. It may
Get them
go
fast.
It may go. So get out there and check
Get
them out
all
now
9
if you want to hear them.
episodes.
They're a dying breed. And
That's like a day's worth of listening.
as a reminder, you're going to want to split
long-ass
that up.
shows. Yeah, they
You're
were.
gonna take a nap.
Awesome show.
As a reminder, if you get our show on iTunes, we would greatly appreciate if you would leave a comment or a review on there,
Yeah,
or at least just click on one of the stars ratings. That would be awesome. I saw we got a couple more, so appreciate that
cool.
for everybody. And something we don't normally do enough, and I mentioned it on Twitter last week, but everybody who spreads the word about our show and retweets our show and shares it on their Facebook page, we don't say thank you enough to you guys.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
And it is awesome,
Yeah.
and it's really nice of you guys to spread the word about our show, and we appreciate it.
yeah.
So,
Yeah. We love doing this. And
Thanks,
so We're
everybody.
glad that you enjoy it enough to share it with other people.
yeah, because we would do this if there were mics or not.
I don't really love doing this,
Why we
but
do
I'll
this.
do it.
Shut up.
Okay.
You'll do what we say.
I know. That's exactly what it is.
All right.
Next
and
week, Sean is playing 4 RPGs.
it's true. Sorry, your homework came in.
hope I have a lot of comics to read. An excuse. That would be bad.
There's a lot of... In the opposite of what happened this week, there's a lot of games coming out in the next month or so. So Portal 2 comes out this week, which I'm super excited for. I know Thor's coming out within the next couple weeks, which I'm sure Sean has got a boner for.
Definitely try it out.
Thor.
Not Thor's boner, but...
Brink's coming. That Lego Pirates
that
of the...
in Dicktown.
Another Lego game.
Lego Pirates
of the Caribbean.
Oh, is that coming out already?
Like within the next month.
Yeah.
Wow. And then LA Noir's hitting a month from now, too. So, oh boy.
Yes.
Get ready, kids.
Yes.
Are we done?
Yeah.
All right, let's get out of here. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Receiving this transmission. This has been a pseudo radio production. Repeat, this has been a pseudo radio production. Copyright 2011.